This is
Oh, it's going. We're going. We're doing
going.
it.
Matt and Carson.
Matt and Carson.
Like, I don't know what this is gonna be. If this is gonna be a
No
vlog
idea. We'll
slash
see.
lifestyle
Yeah.
slash whatever it turns into.
Whatever we end up doing. We
we're
do a
just
lot of
gonna-
random things
We're just
anyway.
gonna talk.
Yeah. Let's talk about how we started dating. I want
man.
you to start with your side,
My side
and
of
then
the
I'll
story?
do my side.
Okay. Well, through mutual friends, I was on Instagram one day, and this is my recollection of what I remember. But
When was this? What year?
this was 2019, beginning of 2019. And I was like, just like scrolling through Instagram and like through mutual friends, I like saw one of my friends like hanging with a bunch of people. And I was like, oh, these people look so cool, like super chill. And then there was also a girl in that picture that I was like, oh, she's really pretty. I was like, I'll give her a follow. Or like I clicked on your profile and then I like scrolled through some of your posts and I was like, every single one of her posts, I was like, dang, like this girl looks cool. Like I'd love to just be a friend. And like I saw that you lived in Florida and like all that stuff and I was like, it never crossed my mind that I was like, oh, this could totally be a relationship. We lived on opposite sides of the country.
True.
Never thought that. I was like, I just thought, oh, she's really pretty. Her stuff is really cool. She loves Jesus. I was like, I'll follow her. And then like you'd post stuff and I'd see like you post something and I'd be like, oh, this is like so good. And I'd literally comment, so good. Or
Literally, so like those words, so good.
or like 100 sign. Or like on your stories, like you'd post something really good and I'd be like fire emoji.
It really did all start with fire.
Like fire emoji, 100 emoji. Like so good. Like literally just the same like things over and over again. But I legitimately just thought it was just so good. And I was like, she's super pretty. But never crossed my mind. And then I don't remember what it was. I like would just comment here and there and then you'd sometimes comment back and whatnot. And then all of a sudden there was a post that you made about the Laney album. And this was, well,
Love
backtrack,
Laney.
that was like all throughout 2019 really, and 2020.
Yeah,
And then
that was a whole year.
probably like, and I would like ask questions here and there, but it was just
Yeah.
never, it was just like
Yeah.
just talking here and there. And then 2021 was when Laney came out with their album.
Mm-hmm.
And then you posted something about dancing in the kitchen. And I was like, so good. Again. But then I followed
with the so good.
I followed up.
So
I followed
good.
up the so good with, do you have a favorite on the album?
You did ask me that.
And from there, we just started like talking, having conversation. And then it led to like, you posted something also about like a throwback of soccer. And I was like, oh, no way, you played college ball? Like, so did I. Like, did you love it? And it was just like conversation. I will admit, I just kept talking over Instagram and eventually you were like, so do you want to like, just like text? Cause I'm not into this whole like
I'm gonna expand upon that on my
IG
side.
thing. And then I was like, sure. And then you were like, would you want to FaceTime? She's like, cause I'm not into this whole texting thing either. And I was like, all right, let's just do it. And we scheduled a FaceTime
You did.
and we talked for like an hour and 45 minutes. And this is like fall
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
And then it was literally like we'd schedule them out.
Yeah.
We'd be like, hey,
Well,
so
we had to schedule them because there was like a 3-hour time difference.
3-hour time difference. Both of us had
So busy.
super busy schedules.
He was working at a church called Central
Yeah.
in Vegas. I was working at the Grove Church in Titusville, Florida. And we both were just doing so many things. So we'd be like, okay, could you FaceTime at 5 o'clock in the evening your time, but that's like 8 o'clock my time at night. Like, could you do that? Like, it was wild
But
when we
made it
scheduled
work.
it. We did.
And we just like caught it. Literally, it was like probably every 2 weeks.
Yeah, just caught
like,
up.
And we just caught up. Like, hey, how you doing? Da, da, da. And like really just built this really awesome friendship.
Yeah.
And
was
we were
months.
like, yeah, that was literally all of the end of 2021,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And then probably end of December-ish is when I was like, oh, you know what? Like this girl's.
I still didn't know
Like-
what he was thinking.
I
I
was
did
like,
not know what he
Yeah.
was thinking.
I was like, this girl's really cool and da da da. And then that like finished off the year.
Yeah.
And then come like mid-January, or like this was beginning of January, I
Yes.
was like, hey, I'm gonna be going down to Atlanta like I'll be over
Yeah.
in the area.
Side note, he has best friends that live in Atlanta.
Isaac and Anna.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Love Isaac and Anna. He has friends that live in Atlanta, and then my best friend, Sarah, who now lives in Australia. I moved to Atlanta, she moves to Australia.
Wow.
But my best friend lived in Atlanta, so we kind of had that going for us too. We're
Yeah.
like, oh, like we love Atlanta. Like I have friends in Atlanta, he had friends in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was visiting, and you're like, no way, I could totally come down and stay with my friend Sarah, and I was like, sick, like, let's do something.
Which that is another story in itself, because I remember he had told me, he was like, these are the dates I'm gonna be in Atlanta. Like, keep in mind, we still both like hadn't like thought, oh, like I want to date this person. Like we were just kind of like, that'd be so cool to hang out. Like maybe at that point I was like, there might be potential.
Yeah.
I was like,
totally.
there's definitely potential there. So I remember talking to Barry Russell. I remember talking to Barry,
My
which
guy.
that was like my direct supervisor, my boss at the time. And Barry was like, I'm not even gonna say low-key, high-key, making fun of me. He's like, you're about to drive to Atlanta to go see a guy? I'm like, yeah.
You're like, yeah, I am.
I guess I am. I'm literally about to
But
drive.
yeah, I was like, there could be potential, but I was also like, oh, like we've just grown this awesome friendship.
Yeah.
Let's like hang.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I wasn't like, mind you, when we hung out in Atlanta, it was like, we hung out the whole day.
Yeah.
I was just thinking.
Okay, so we got to Atlanta. You were in
Yeah.
Atlanta. I was in Atlanta. And I think we both got there a Saturday. And so one of his best friends, Anna, works at Passion City Church. And I had gone to Passion City Church in grad school a little bit. So
Yeah.
I loved Passion. I've been going to the conference all through college. So that's when we both were like, well, I'm going to Passion City on Sunday. Oh, you're going to Passion City
Yeah.
on Sunday. Like, that's where we'll meet and say
Yeah.
hey. For the first time. Keep in mind, we had never.
Hey, Be Real just went off.
Okay.
That's the notification.
Nuh-uh. Why does his always goes off before mine, and then it never loads? If you do Be Real, you know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you
Be
know.
Real just went
Anyway,
off.
okay. Be
I
Real
heard
just
the
went off.
notification. I knew
We'll
it.
Be Real. Once mine loads, I'll Be Real.
You'll be real.
I'll be
My
real.
phone's over there.
It's fine.
But
So we were gonna
like,
meet at Passion.
yeah, but like we just grew this really cool friendship. I was like thinking, okay, like at first we were like, okay, we'll meet at Passion.
Yeah.
Da da da. Mind you, I was like, I've never met this girl before. Like FaceTime's one thing. I was like, now we're like in person.
What were your thoughts like that whole day, that Sunday morning? When we were about to meet in person, like we had also, like that's wild. We had built this friendship for like 6 months at that point now.
Yeah.
We had been just friends over the phone. Like we had been DMing to texting to FaceTiming and building this friendship, and like we had never seen each other in person.
Yeah. Well, I knew, thankfully, FaceTime, I was like, okay, she's real.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like
a real
this ain't no
person.
catfish situation. But no, I was like, dang, like she's awesome. Like I just want to hang, like get to know her. And for me, I'm like half and half. We're being real. Sorry.
Don't be fake. Okay, sorry.
For me, I'm like, everyone's gonna be like, dang, what are you guys doing?
I didn't think about that. Keep going.
Mine will be later. For me, I was like, dang, like, I didn't really think anything of it either. Like, I was like, oh, cool, there could be potential. But the other side of me was also like, we're both gonna go back.
Yeah.
Like, you're going back to Florida, I'm going back to Vegas. Like, I was like, this
had
could just
not
be a really
thought
cool
through it
friendship
all,
to have. And I was like, I just need to, like, I want to just meet her.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, when I first saw you going through my head, I was like, dang, I'm really nervous. Why am I nervous? And then I was also like, when I saw her for the first time, I was like, dang, she is so beautiful. Like, way better, like, way more beautiful in person. I mean, you could, like, you know, I didn't say much. I was
He
like,
did not say
Isaac-
much. We were standing in the oval, like in the center of Passion, and me and Sarah were waiting, and then Matt, and then his best friend Isaac, and I think Anna came later, but like y'all walked up, and then Matt is just like, hey.
Hey, good to see you. I immediately just froze. And thank God for Isaac, because he just like drove that
Shout out to
conversation.
Isaac.
Yeah, and then the next day we like hung out. I picked you up. We went
Yes.
to Cultivate for breakfast. Bomb spot. literally sat and ate and talked there for a long time.
A long time. Great conversation.
It was cool because like we just now like got to get to know each other.
Yeah.
I think my one like thing I was worried about was we had so much like chemistry over the phone.
Yeah.
Like we could just talk and chat and blah blah blah. I was like, oh, is it not gonna be this? Like, is this gonna be like one of those weird days where we're just hanging out and there's like awkward silence?
And we're just like, ugh.
But no, like conversation just flowed
Yeah.
and went, and then from there we went and walked around the works, and then from there we went to the aquarium.
We did.
We were like, what are we gonna do?
I know.
And then it was just like, we can go to the aquarium.
Yeah, it
Why
was
not?
fun.
So we drove down there. After that, you went back.
Yeah, I
your
went back to Sarah's place.
And then I went back to Isaac's. And then I was like, hey, I was going to grab dinner with Anna and Isaac. And they wanted to invite you if you wanted to come down and hang. And she was like, oh, okay. I'll see if like I'm free.
I was so nervous. Because like one, I had just hung out with him all day. And I was like, that was amazing. So much fun. And then he invites me to dinner. And it's with his like 2 best friends that also like they're dating. So then I was like, oh my gosh, like I felt like it was so much pressure. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like meeting his like friends and I've never met them before and I don't know how they are and it was a lot. But it was so good.
Yeah, we hung out that night, ate dinner.
Yeah.
And then, we said bye. Mm-hmm. And then it wasn't until February.
Yeah, I went back to Florida. You went back to Vegas.
Yeah.
And I think after that we started having intentional conversations though.
Yeah, and then February came around and I was like going to Tampa for a Got Behind Bars like filming thing in a prison. And I was like, hey, I told you, I was like, hey, I'm coming into Tampa.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, no way. You're
Because
like,
I lived in Titusville, so it was about 2 hours from Tampa, like on the other coast, on the East Coast.
yeah, and you're like, no way. Like, I'm closer to Orlando.
Yeah.
Like, if you fly in there.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Isaac. I was like, hey, do you want to, like, fly into Orlando? And he's like, actually, we are flying into Orlando, and we're going to stay there and then drive to Tampa.
Yeah.
I was like, perfect.
Perfect.
And then it was like, I was like, I can pay for a hotel. And then you're like, no, my parents said you can just come stay
Yeah.
at the house. So I was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, so the first time you ever met my parents, you stayed at their house.
Yeah, but it was just like, I don't know, it was really cool. And it was like such a cool opportunity to get to know them more and meet them and stuff. But honestly, at that moment, I was like, I really like this girl. Like,
Yeah.
I see things coming like to fruition.
Yeah.
And like, someone's blowing up my phone.
I know.
But like,
Good point to
I
get a
can
hold of you.
see things like moving forward.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's why I was like, oh, I'd love to hang out again type thing. And then I hung out in Titusville with you that few days after that,
Yeah.
met like Bridget.
Yeah, he met, and this was a big thing for me because I hadn't dated in a long time because I just was so independent. I was doing my thing, so busy in ministry, pouring into my high school girls. Like a lot of things were happening, and I was loving it, loving that time. But I think too, that showed a lot too that I really did like you and saw like that potential about us like maybe dating, and then just how much you love Jesus. Because when you started to like meet all of my people, like my people, that's when that was like super special to me. And just to see like you interact with them, because like my parents and like Bridget and everyone at the Grove, like especially I told you that too, I had to like pre-warn him because I was like, okay, when you come to the Grove, some people know about you, like the ones close to me. Others have no idea. So you're about to walk in to a church that like I work at. I've always been like the single girl, so everyone's like,
who's this guy with you?
who's Carson?
That whole trip was awesome because I just got to meet everyone.
Yes, and
like,
that, I think it was like the last night that he was in town. So he was only there, this was still in February. January we had met for the first time. February he's in Florida, in Titusville. And you were only there for like 2 days. The last night he was there, we took food to the beach, had a picnic, and started playing We're Not Really Strangers.
Yeah.
Which is a card game, if you haven't played
Such
it, that's
a
just
good
like
game.
intentional, deep questions. And we started doing that, and long story short, we just start having this intentional conversation about like what we're feeling, what this is, what we see in this, like almost like defining the relationship.
Okay. And as that evening's ending, we start like just walking around, like the beach ended up closing, so we left and we went to the park to watch the sunset.
Yeah.
And we were just like walking, and we were on the last few cards. And I don't remember what card it was that you drew.
Oh, I remember.
Okay, well, hang on there. Um, anyways, that night I was like, I wanted to see how the trip went. And I was like, I got to meet everyone. I got to like hang out. I wanted to see how the trip went. I was like, I really like this girl. Like, she's beautiful. She's awesome. She like so many things. And it like confirmed in my heart. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ask to be my girlfriend. And then we pulled this card.
Yeah. He pulled the card and it said, what about me is the hardest for you to understand? And immediately my mind first went to like, what is he wanting out of this? Like, what are his intentions? What are his thoughts? And I kind of thought about my answer. And before I said it, I was thinking like, should I even say this? And he looks at me and he's like, say it. Like, say whatever you're thinking. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I guess I'm just thinking like, what is this? What? And he kind of finished my sentence. He was like, but you're like thinking, what is this? Where are we going? Type. I'm like, yes.
I finally like voiced to you like what I was thinking. And I was like, well, and it was just like this whole conversation. Of like, I wanted to ask you this, but I didn't know if I needed to talk to your parents first. I wanted to like respect them in that, and like, just like so many different factors. You were like, no, we had a whole conversation
I know, we had
about
this whole thing.
Still haven't asked the question yet. And then we get in the car and we're like, we should go get like milkshakes. And
we went to get milkshakes.
To Moonlight. Literally on the way to Moonlight. Is when I asked if you wanted to be my girlfriend. And you said yes. Praise the Lord. And then we got milkshakes and just finished off the night. And then at the milkshake place, we finished the card game. And then from there, we did long distance till...
We've been doing long distance. That was in February. And basically once a month, we would see each other. We saw each other once a month. We were once in March. April, May,
Well,
June.
April, you came out to Vegas.
Yes. A lot of different things each month. But basically, and this can be a whole nother video, but basically the Lord brought Matt to Atlanta through just him being obedient to the calling and him starting to like get out of necessarily the church world and go into freelance. And so that was super sweet and very personal to Matt. And then the same time I had been praying and feeling this tug about what was next and what I should be doing. And that's when I applied to work at Passion City. And a lot of things started happening so fast.
Just everything fell into place.
And that's honestly why I just love talking about it, because it was so personal to me and my relationship with God, and just feeling obedient and feeling a pull and feeling like all these different things when it came to praying like, God, if this isn't your will, I don't want it type deal.
No, for sure.
And we were totally okay with still being long distance. Like if that's what it was going to be, we were okay with it. We're like, we'll just go with the flow.
100%.
But I said yes to working at Passion City. You said yes to moving to Atlanta to live with Isaac, do freelance and video with God Behind Bars, and everything's taking off with that. And now we're living in the same city.
Same city. It's crazy.
It's so crazy to think like in July, like I was moving to Florida and you were preparing to move in August.
You mean moving to Atlanta?
To Atlanta.
Yeah, it was cool because we still got to do long distance. I still got to like serve God faithfully at Central and devote my time to like the testimonies and films and everything there. And then finally, just around probably March, April, probably March, when I went out to Miami with God Behind Bars, and just really felt God move and stir in my heart to like take a next step. Whatever that was, I didn't know yet, but I just felt that call. And then around April, I was like, this is it. Like I feel just God's calling me to something new. Then all of a sudden, Anna was like, yo, there's this opening at Passion. Like, you should just apply.
I was literally in Vegas visiting you and your family. What month was that?
April.
Literally
right? When I was
so then I was having brunch with Anna, who Anna works at Passion. And I was just not even venting to her, but just like kind of saying like, I've been praying about what's next for me. I'm kind of feeling uneasy, unsettled about a lot of things. And she was just encouraging me that there was this opening at Passion City for the kids coordinator. And she was like, just pray about it. And I started praying about applying. And then I just really felt a peace about applying. Because I'm like, well, if I apply for it, then it really is in God's hands. Then it really is like, kind of, if Matt's in Atlanta and I don't get it and I'm still in Florida, amazing. Like, we'll make it work.
I think it's so cool how God just like aligned everything in his timing. Because like, obviously I could have moved in a second in April when I felt like just like so on fire for
Yeah.
it. But I think he was still like, there was a lot that he was still working on in my heart. And still a lot I had to work out in Vegas. And like, it was just so cool. Like, even though it felt so long and I was like, dang, like, just I started like thinking timeline. I was like, okay, August and this and that, and like still had all of June, all of July. But then like finally, like, and then all of a sudden you're out there in July, and I'm like, dang, she's out there before me.
Beat him.
And then, but it was cool, just like you got to get settled and like have time for you and God to like situate yourself here, and knowing how we were able to just like come together and date in the same city and live life. And
well,
I don't know, it was
it's
just
also like that scripture with like God isn't slow in keeping his promises, and I can't say that enough, because I think we could have easily rushed into things. We could have easily just been like, well, let's both just move somewhere if we want to, and like all these different things. But I think it's so amazing when we literally do everything with the Lord's pace. Like never rushing things, because the Lord's timing isn't our timing. And so I think it's just amazing to like look back and see like all the like build up of our relationship and how each point was just so like God ordained and like soaked in scripture and prayer and intentionality. And the fact that we're both getting to date in the same city, which has been so much fun. So much fun.
It's crazy how God just aligned it all. Like being together in the same city was a plus. Like honestly, moving to Atlanta was something that God put on each of our hearts separately and in our own walks individually with him. And I think it was just cool how he happened to just align dating in that. And just like, there wasn't like we were going to work at the same church. Like he's still individually calling us separately in terms of career and like where we're at in ministry, but at the same time was allowing us through our faithfulness, I believe, like to bring us then together.
There were definitely like everything wasn't like, oh, we're so good at long distance.
Sunshine and rainbows. Like,
it wasn't. There were definitely times where it was like tension, or there was like thoughts of like, okay, what is this? Like, what do we do? How do we navigate this? Like, so many different things that come with long distance, and also because we started with long distance. Like, we didn't start dating in the same city and then move apart. So I think the moving apart and just the intention. I will say this too, from like Matt's perspective and my perspective, we both knew what we wanted. Like we both knew that we wanted someone that loved Jesus so much. And we knew we wanted someone that was like servant minded and like all these different things. So I will say that knowing what you want, it makes the, oh, it's long distance, he's forever away. Like, I'm like, okay, well, but he loves Jesus.
That's true.
And he's cute.
Oh, I'm making me blush. I'm just kidding. I just felt so much peace in my own heart, because it was like, she loves the Lord. She's serving the Lord. She's like amazing. She's beautiful. Like there's just so many factors that I just like felt peace, and I was like, I don't need to worry. I don't need to like have any doubts or anything like that.
Or the answers.
I just felt so much peace, and it just felt so much like, I don't know, it just felt natural. Like it didn't feel like you were far away. It still felt like you were right there. And it was cool.
So that's our backstory. That's how we started dating. It is kind of crazy, because when people ask us, like, so how'd you guys meet? That is the most loaded question for us, I think. Like, so how'd you guys meet? And we're like, okay, well, like, do we say Instagram or do we say mutual friends? Because shout out to TJ. Can we just shout out TJ real quick? Like,
shout out to TJ.
TJ, so I met him in LA. Matt was already following him on Instagram. So it was almost like mutual friends, but Instagram is kind of how we started.
It was weird too, because, I mean, when we're filming this video at this moment, I've never met TJ.
Yes, he's still never met TJ in person.
I just followed TJ because I was like, this dude's dope. Like, I love I love his fashion. Like, I love his sense of style. He's creative. He's amazing. Like, he just looks like a sick dude. And I followed him through Blaine.
Love Blaine.
Like, so, like, just all, it was wild. But just, like, Blaine and then TJ. And I was like, this dude just seems sick. He's also Filipino. Like, I could relate on so many ways. And then you happened to meet them and hang out with them.
I never said this, the very beginning of this, how we have a mutual friend. is because in 2019, I didn't say this part.
Yeah.
In 2019, me and my friend Kat we wanted to go to the Mosaic Church Conference in LA and met all these amazing people. And we just started hanging out with TJ and JT all the time. And they were just so much fun. So then I got close with TJ, and you were already friends with him on Instagram.
Friends with him. Saw him.
So he was posting.
Like he posted like a group photo of all y'all, and I was like, one, they all look cool. I was like, two, it's like whoever Carson is, she's very pretty, and I was like, she looks rad. So I followed her, and
also I didn't know that I didn't follow you back at first.
Yeah, it took you a long time to follow.
Which
me.
I did not know that.
I think it was just through consistency of like. So
Matt
good.
was consistent.
So good.
I will
and
say
100
that.
signs and fire emojis.
Those got me.
Then all of a sudden she followed me back, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And then, like, because at that time I wasn't thinking anything of it. I was like, "This is just a cool friendship, and she's really pretty and all this stuff." And
look where we are now.
Look where we are now, sitting here, both
sitting
in Atlanta,
here, both living in
the same
Atlanta,
city,
dating, getting to go to church together, having a church home. So many things.
Mutual
We
friends
love
now
grocery
that are
shopping. We've been making friends. We go to the gym here.
It's wild.
But
it's wild.
That's how we met. That's the backstory.
Crazy. Yeah, groceries. There's a lot of things.
There's so many things. So hopefully through this, we'll just get to literally bring you guys on the adventures.
Yeah.
We do the most random things. We just honestly, I feel like every weekend, we just like to do random things. We like to have fun. We like to hang out with friends. So hopefully you'll meet some of our friends. And just
there'll be friends in the vlog.
Let's just live life.
Live life. We love sunrises.
Laugh, love.
No.
We do love.
Anyways, we love sunrises, sunsets.
We love
randomly
sunrises and sunsets.
We went to a parking garage one night, found.
We'll have to show you the
view.
parking garage. We've been telling everyone at Passionate about it. We'll bring you guys along for the ride.
I honestly forgot there was a camera there.
Yeah, I did too. We've been talking for a long time.
I haven't looked at the camera.
But we love you guys. We're pumped about this.
Yeah, let's pray that this goes like well, and then we can continue consistency.
Consistency is key, obviously, as Matt has showed.
Yes. We apologize for it being so long.
Yeah,
maybe we'll
don't really
edit
know
it.
How long this fit check. Come on.
Am I supposed to
fit
send
check.
it?
So he got these. Are these Zara?
These are Zara.
Zara. We got them for the Laney concert. Shoes, Vans.
Brandon Lake
you gotta
shirt.
do this. You gotta do this.
Oh my gosh. These are just orange Vans.
It's orange Vans.
You got like the
Zara.
Jordans on.
I don't know what this
Zara.
is. This
Jesus
one you gave
loves
it
you
to
shirt.
me. Yeah, but those are our fits. I like doing that. So as Matt will be doing all of the producing, editing, filming.
Yeah.
I'm here for the good times.
The great times.
Anyway, it's gonna be fun.
All right. Love y'all.